Hello, kia ora, g'day. I'm Philip Duncan from Weather Watch TV on YouTube with your 7-day Australia-only forecast. And we've got some stormy stuff carrying on around the southern half of the continent. The main areas of weather will be in the southwest corner and the southeast corner. So again, just like last week or the other video the other day, not a huge amount happening at the top of the nation. So if we're not talking about you, it means there's not a lot happening with the weather. So look at this big low pressure zone south of Australia. As we tweeted this morning or put on X, it looks like Australia is riding a unicycle towards New Zealand. So that's encouraging windy, milder weather for the southeastern side, but a cooler change over here, certainly windy along the coastlines. And we've got a small low pressure zone off the east coast as well, or a couple of them, and that's encouraging more showery weather along the eastern side of the nation. And this down here south of Tassie, that's a high pressure zone. So a little bit further south than usual, that's encouraging by Sunday, a wintry Antarctic blast for New Zealand. But Australia is not quite so caught up in it, but Tasmania might just get brushed by it. So we'll explain all of it. Let's kick off with Friday's forecast. We've got a messy setup. We've got three main areas of low pressure, 1, 2, and then 3 out here to the east. So we've got plenty of showers around New South Wales and Victoria. A line of rain coming through here. That'll be very welcome for those who need it the most. And that will push in mostly along the western side of Tasmania, but also comes into South Australia around the hills of Adelaide and further out towards Port Lincoln. We'll be seeing a bit of wet weather coming through for you on Friday. So a couple of places of interest. Millicent down here near Mount Gambier in South Australia, 14 degrees for you. That's down several degrees on where you'll be for today. So that is a cold front coming through for you in Millicent and Mount Gambier, South Australia. The other place of interest, Stanley here in the northwestern corner of Tasmania, wet for you. 14 is the high on Friday, 9 degrees your low. Let's go into Saturday. Now the next system is forming out here, coming into Western Australia. A burst of warm, windy weather ahead of it, mostly only in the southern half of Western Australia, and the rain also only in the southern half. There will be some heavy falls though. Here is the good news. Rain coming through for many places, in fact including north of Perth, going up to about Ledge Point, Western Australia. In Ledge Point you've got rain, a high of 16 degrees, down to about 12 degrees for you on Saturday night. Another place to mention on Saturday is Albury over here towards New South Wales, or in New South Wales I should say, next to Victoria. Colder for you on Saturday in Albury. It'll be a few degrees colder with 12 degrees your maximum temperature. Okay, let's go through now to Sunday. Esperance over here in Western Australia. You're seeing the next system coming through. Windy weather all along that coastline, Albany, right around all the way over to Perth. It's windy coming off the ocean there for you. In Esperance itself, 24 degrees on Saturday, but here on Sunday, your high is only 16 degrees or so. So that's quite a big temperature drop as that all moves through for you. On the other side, it's messier with just a few showers bubbling up here and there. That's what the blue shading shows. Perhaps a better chance of rain over along the hills and ranges, and a bit of wet weather also coming in down around Hobart and eastern parts of Tasmania. That is part of that southerly that's caught up in the New Zealand Antarctic blast. So you're right on the very edge of it if you're in Antarctica. If you're in Tasmania. If you're in Antarctica, you're in the thick of it, obviously. So it will be colder, but not as cold as some of the events that you saw perhaps over the last couple of months. So it is a cold change. Most of it's for New Zealand though. So a place of interest down here near Hobart, Glenorchy. Cloudy for you, might be a shower or two. 11 degrees is as warm as it'll get for you on Sunday. Now by Monday, here is the next big stormy low, tracking along the southern parts of Australia, mostly South Australia. Showers coming through for you, warm northerlies ahead of it, cooler west to southwest winds behind it. It's not a major temperature changer though, and elsewhere, pretty dry across Australia. Not a lot really happening, just maybe a few showers around Sydney. A bit of cloud hanging around for you on Monday, but the rainfall totals, they won't be very much for you. Kangaroo Island over here in South Australia, 16 is your high, 11 is your low. It'll become windier with a few showers around, although not a huge amount coming in for you there on Monday. And another place, if you go straight from Kangaroo Island all the way northwards up here into Queensland, you get into Mount Isa, and Mount Isa is 32 degrees and overnight lows of 14 around Mount Isa for the next week ahead. Those overnight lows go up and up and up as the red line here drops down just a little bit. So getting a bit warmer and hotter for those of you around the northern third, let's say the northern 1/3 of Australia. So into Tuesday, it's probably even less than a third. I'm doing the maths now as I'm working that out. As we go through to Tuesday now, that warmer airflow does drop down further. So it's getting more humid, more tropical up here. That produces a few more showers around Cairns, for example. But at the other end, windy westerly weather, Southern Ocean dominated, if you like, coming from up. These are cold winds here stretching up and across. So it'll be blowing along as a windy westerly. Low pressure here drives in more rain for Tasmania, especially the northern half of it. Speaking of this area, Curry on King Island, it'll be pretty windy for you as we go through to Tuesday. What's new? I guess it's a windy part of the world there through Bass Strait. And your temperatures in Curry or on King Island will be about 15 degrees, overnight low of 11, and showers coming through for you. Okay, Wednesday, more of the same weather. Showery coming out here along the western side. Not so much in the way of huge rain. Rainfall totals with that blue sort of getting around 2, 3, 4, maybe 7 or 8 millimetres. If you get more than that, you'll be lucky, but not much. Just a little bit of rain there in the blue. Similar story over here in Victoria, South Australia, and anywhere where you see that pale blue, it's just a few showers, and sometimes in the lightest of that blue, the sort of lighter shading around there, that's just the risk of the shower. You might not even get it. So just be aware where you see these pale blue areas, cloudy usually, the chance of some showers, but the proper rain usually you see in those yellows and greens. Our final map for next week shows proper rain here coming into Bass Strait, coastal parts of South Australia, coastal parts of Victoria, brushing Melbourne and brushing parts of Tasmania. Also another line of downpours forming through the interior. Won't be huge amounts, but again, you might be lucky if you get a heavy downpour of rain. So this is the departure from normal. How much rain are we getting over the next 7 days compared to usual? And as you can see here, some places inland are getting more rain than normal. That is good news for these areas where you see the blue. Elsewhere where you get white shading, normal rainfall for this time of the year. And I guess it's pretty obvious what the red means. Not much rain, 10%, 5% of normal rainfall. So basically no rain falling. Let's have a look and see just how much rain is on the way. This is the next 7 days rainfall. You'll notice the west to east movement of most of that rain that's coming through, and the totals that build up over the next 7 days, some of the biggest totals right down here, as we were just talking about, on that border between South Australia and Victoria, you're getting into the potential zone of 50 millimetres or more. Have to point out it's a pretty fine line between those that are only going to get about 20 or 30, but still some very welcome rain coming through that part here. And around the southwestern corner of Western Australia, you'll get some rain, but it's only just brushing the coastal zone. Don't go very far inland and there's not much rain falling for you, and certainly pretty dry around the top. Now, sadly, we don't have a flight sim place of the day today. That is because we have to have some computer maintenance, and that's the computer that we use. So it'll be a couple of weeks before we're back with the animations again. We will do it, that's for sure. I love doing those flyovers around Australia. So give us a couple more weeks. Probably September we'll be back with that again. In the meantime, please do check out our website, weatherwatch.co.nz. It is a New Zealand-based website, but it does give you an idea of what we do, and we are looking to launch into Australia at some point in the next year or so. So any of your feedback would be very welcome. That's all from me. Oh, one more thing, ruralweather.co.nz. Check that out as well. That's another side of our website, which in Australia you might find very helpful. But as we say, it's only for New Zealand at this point. So we need to get your feedback and we'll see how it goes. We'd love to launch in Australia at some point. Your support is what we need to do that. Thanks again. Have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday.